What are you supposed to do with all your commons? Just put them on the wall?
YugiNoNo.
Okay, so I'm gonna give you guys some tips on how to manage your Yu-Gi-Oh collection because I know that it sucks. So hopefully by making this video, I can make your lives a little bit easier. And this first thing is obvious. Ideally, you keep your foils in binders or a shoebox. But the big question is, what the fuck do you do with all of your commons? I mean, you could set them on fire or eat them. Now, you could just give them to your locals, but if you're a selfish bastard like me, that's not an option. So as Galactic God put it in an old video of his, you could group them up and sell them. But most of the time you have to keep them because who really buys commons, right?
I love commons.
Scrub, so you could keep your commons and all of your old tins, but the problem with the old school tins is they don't hold very many cards.
Fuck this.
But the newer mega tins do. But what I do is I actually go through all of my commons and pick out cards that have potential. And it could be anything generic, like Noisy Gnat, for example, which is a hand trap, Stygian Dirge. And it could be cards that you already know are good, like Mystical Space Typhoon or Call of the Haunted. And you can find some really good stuff sometimes. But there's two big problems with going through your commons this way. One, it takes a shit ton of time to do. And two, binders cost money. If you have a bunch of cards, I can't really help you with the first part. You'll just have to go through and read them all yourself and decide what's good. But I can offer tips on binders. What I do for my common binders is I just get really cheap 3-ring binders from Walmart, and then I just get really cheap sleeve pages and put them in there. But what sucks about the sleeve pages is they kind of get everywhere. But what I do to solve that and keep them all together is I just take a bread tie and keep them together that way. But what really sucks is when you just realize that you put them all in upside down, or when you flip them over and realize that some of them are still upside down. But organizing your commons this way makes it so much easier to go through them and find what you need, because the past has shown that certain commons will be really good in certain formats, like Magic Deflector, for example, in Monarch format. And cards like Magic Deflector are good enough to actually be used in other formats as well. And speaking of entire Yu-Gi-Oh formats, another thing that I do is I actually have 2 GOAT binders, because I love playing GOAT format and I love introducing new people to the format. So if you're familiar with what cards were legal and what cards were played back in the day, you can keep them all nice and together and trade with people. And you don't have to just keep your decks in your deck boxes. My friends and I also play some 2002 format every once in a while, so I like to keep those cards all together as well. And if you don't want to go the binder route and you just want to use tins, what I recommend, although it is time consuming, is to group up like archetypes. Or maybe just archetypes that you're interested in playing, like Fluffles, for example. Like I said before, it is really time consuming to go through your entire collection, but at the end of the day, you feel oddly satisfied. Except at the very end when you realize that most of your Yu-Gi-Oh cards are shit.
Subscribe.